Welcome to Rob on Holiday. This week we're in North Yorkshire, specifically in Whitby. And if you believe the road signs coming in, it's either the home of Scampi or the jewel of the Yorkshire coast, or maybe it's both and a lot more. Let's see what Whitby has to offer. This is the bottom of the 199 steps that lead up to Whitby Abbey, so I won't be talking when I'm going up because I'll be out of breath. Let's go. Not too bad climbing the 199 steps. It must be all that practice climbing Italian bell tower steps. Now this is St Mary's Parish Church behind us, and it's significant because Bram Stoker used some of the names on the gravestones here for some of his characters in the novel Dracula. And we're going to go around Whitby and do a few more Bram Stoker stroke Dracula pieces as we go along. Now here at Rob on Holiday we believe in being honest, and we want to present places in the best light, but we also like to point out things that we think are probably not worth the value. We decided not to pay to go into Whitby Abbey today. It's £13, and to be honest that seems a lot. I mean, only recently we were in Rome and went in the Colosseum. That was 16 or 17 euros, and yet you're paying almost as much to go in here when you can see a lot of it from the outside. And there are plenty of ruined abbeys in Yorkshire that you can walk around for free, so I think it's nice coming up the 199 steps and seeing the coast and looking over the harbour and getting a view of the abbey here. But we're going to stop here at the gates. We've walked further around the road now from the gates to the other side of the abbey, and it's a great view of the abbey here, and of course a great view out to sea as well, and it's all free. Just overlooking the harbour here at Whitby, there's a Lewis Carroll garden. Now of course Lewis Carroll is famous for writing the Alice in Wonderland book or books. And the reason there's a connection here, when he came to the beach here at Whitby, he had an idea for a poem, The Walrus and the Carpenter. Now The Walrus and the Carpenter, it's a little poem about two characters arguing over oysters on the beach and how many to eat of them, and he actually put that in Through the Looking Glass, and Tweedledum and Tweedledee recited the poem to Alice, and Alice started asking questions about the poem, and they were debating which was the better of the two characters, the walrus or the carpenter. So it's only a little place, but it's worth seeing if you're here in Whitby. But while we're here, speaking of walruses, this is our friend Woodstock the Walrus, and he's got his very own Instagram page that you might want to follow, because Woodstock is going to visit as many photographic places, scenic places as he can. You know, we'll take pictures of him in front of, well, here at Whitby for example, other places in the UK, and hopefully some special places abroad as well. So keep your eye out on Instagram, Woodstock the Walrus. Our day trip to Whitby was from our base here at the Great Wood Lodge. It's about 40 miles away from Whitby. It's actually closer to York, it's just 10 miles from York. And what I love about the Great Wood Lodge is it's the most peaceful place I've ever been. I mean, check this out. If you're just silent, you can hear the birds, the squirrels running up and down the trees. If you just sit here for 10 minutes, you'll see loads of squirrels, birds, the odd rabbit, and we've even seen a couple of deer as well. The lodges here are great. We'll put a bit of the lodges on the video so you can see it. So yeah, it's a really good place. This is the second time we've been. We've loved both times and we're definitely coming back again. We're just next to the Bram Stoker bench here in Whitby, and of course Bram Stoker was the author of Dracula, and it's synonymous with Whitby. And I've been doing a bit of reading to find out why, and I'll just try and condense it into a few words. Basically, Bram Stoker came to Whitby and was inspired by the windswept coast, While he was staying here, he went to a library and he did some reading. The former British consul in Bucharest, Romania, written his thoughts and memoirs, and he talked about a 15th century Romanian prince, Vlad Tepes, or as we know him, Vlad the Impaler. And because of the way he dispatched his enemies with a stake, he was known as Dracula. Now Dracula is son of the dragon, but Dracula in Wallachian language also means evil, and Bram Stoker wrote all this down, and this was the genesis of his novel Dracula. The other tie-in to Whitby, or two other ties to Whitby, first of all the Abbey that you can see behind me over there. One of the main characters, Mina Harker, writes about the Abbey in the story of Dracula itself, and of course Mina is the main narrator. And the other final piece of the jigsaw is there was a Russian ship that was wrecked off the coast here, and I think Bram Stoker used this as the inspiration for when Dracula came to England on his ship. In the story, he came from Varna in Romania. So putting all the inspirations together and being inspired by the windswept coast, that's what Bram Stoker used to make his famous novel. And if you come here to Whitby, you get a little sense of that. There's lots of shops selling Dracula related merchandise, so it's a good link. Just looking across to the 199 steps there now, you can see it's getting quite crowded. People who watch any of our videos are going to get fed up with me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you come into Whitby, get here early, and whatever you do the 199 steps first. It's a bit less crowded up there, and then head across the other side of the harbour. This is the Whalebone Arch here at Whitby, overlooking the cliffs, and it's nicely situated so you can get a nice photo through to the Abbey on the other side. Here in Whitby is a statue of Captain James Cook, of course famous for his voyages around the world. Now he came to Whitby as an apprentice and served for a long time on ships under a master. And the interesting thing is when he rose to captain, of course, and sailed around the world, the 3 ships that he used for his famous voyages were all built here in Whitby. And of course, you can't come to Whitby without having famous fish and chips. Quick round of Whitby then. Obviously the Abbey is the main thing in Whitby. It looks down over the sea, you can see it from pretty much everywhere you go. It's really nice walking up the 199 steps and you get a great view from up there. And I like the way that the town is divided into the east side and the west side. You come down back over the bridge. Actually, before I finish that, on the west side lots of little narrow streets to walk around, some nice shops there, and you get a nice cosy feel, a quaint feel. The houses have a quaint feel. On the west side we went up and saw the Bram Stoker bench, the Alice garden, and the Captain Cook statue and the Whale Arch. There's a lot of nice things to do and lots of great photographs to take while you're here. So I'd definitely recommend, if you're on the east coast in Yorkshire, come and see Whitby. We hope you've enjoyed our tour of Whitby. We've certainly enjoyed our day here. Thanks for watching Bram on Holiday, and if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you next time.